Hello people, Lucan is here. Time to do another DVD and Blu-ray collection update. My quiff is falling down. Sorry I haven't done the Q&A yet, but busy times. But I thought I'd give you this to tide you over. I will leave a link in the description to the Q&A video where you can leave your questions if you are so inclined. It would be very nice if you did. I haven't got as many as last time, which is a shame. So if you want to leave some, that's where you do it. But let's get on with this. Here are the 20 DVDs and Blu-rays I shall be showing you in this particular edition. This is the Jurassic Park collection. Now, like so many of my generation, I love the original Jurassic Park. Second one's actually alright, I think. Third one's a bit whatever. And I didn't like Jurassic World, frankly. But yeah, like I say, Jurassic Park would have been one of the first movies I ever saw that I was scared by. I remember being scared by Jurassic Park as a kid. The first one was actually Jaws, which absolutely petrified me. But like I say, Jurassic Park I would have seen at a similar sort of time. You know, the raptors in the kitchen and the T-Rex crashing through the thing in the car, the sunroof or whatever, and I just thought it was so scary, that movie. But it's a great movie, the first Jurassic Park. Yeah, I'm glad to have that. And I do keep it with the horror stuff as it goes. Until there's too much horror stuff, in which case I'll probably take this out. So yeah, it's become a monster movie, you know. Next up, the Krampus. Haven't seen this yet. I think this is going to be the first update where I haven't actually reviewed anything. At least it's the first one for a long time where I haven't reviewed anything. Going back probably close to a year. I might review some of these in future. I haven't seen Krampus yet. Obviously, it's a Christmas horror film, so it would feel a touch inappropriate to check it out in the middle of April. But yeah, no, Krampus. I know a lot of people thought that was wicked, so I'll be bearing that in mind. Next up, The Last Battle. Haven't seen this yet. I got this from a seller on Facebook, and they were doing like a 4 for however much money, I can't remember, thing. And what else did I get? I've got Bruiser, Return of the Living Dead 2, Last Battle, and Inseminoid. And the other ones were all movies I really wanted, but this sounded interesting. From what I can gather, it's a sort of post-apocalyptic action thing, maybe a bit Mad Max, maybe, I don't know. But I mean, I quite like sort of post-apocalyptic type movies, so you know, that's all good. I'll check that out. Next up, The Last Victim. This is based on John Wayne Gacy. It's supposedly a true story about a author who writes letters back and forth with John Wayne Gacy. So it's all about that. Haven't seen it. I got it very cheap. But yeah, no, I mean, quite into sort of serial killer type stuff, so I'll definitely be checking that out and maybe letting you know what I think. Unlikely, but I might. Next up, Madhouse. Haven't seen this one. I picked this up because it's a video nasty. That's all I can tell you about it, really. It was also known as There Was a Little Girl, I think, and it's something about some crazy sisters or something. I don't really know. So yeah, that's Madhouse. This is going to be a quick one, I think. Silence of the Lambs. Now, I had this before, but I decided to pick up the 2-disc edition since I saw it available. I really like this movie. You might be wondering why I've taken a massive leap from N to S. in the alphabet, that's because I put all of the Hannibal Lecter movies under N for Manhunter, which is, of course, the first one. And the best one, conversationally. I should review that movie because it's a fucking brilliant movie, and everyone seems to forget it it sort of seems to get lost in the shuffle with people talking about this movie specifically, but also Red Dragon. Red Dragon is a remake of Manhunter. So yeah, like I say, Manhunter is my favourite Hannibal Lecter movie. I think it's excellent. This one is a great movie too, but it kind of took it to slightly more pantomime territory. You know, the first movie I think was genuinely very chilling, whereas this was kind of jumpy, you know, and a bit, you know, felt a bit silly in places. Although it is a very good movie, I've got to commend it for that. You know, it's the only horror movie to win Best Picture at the Oscars. So I mean, fair play to it. Hannibal, same sort of deal. Found the 2-disc version, so I went for it. Won't talk about that too much. That movie is not very good. I got the 2-disc edition of Red Dragon. Didn't have this one last time. Red Dragon's alright. I quite like it. A different take on the same story as Manhunter. In my opinion, despite the, you know, star-studded cast that this movie has, Manhunter is about a million times better. I definitely prefer Manhunter over Red Dragon. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I think most people who've seen Manhunter prefer it over Red Dragon. The problem is that not as many people have seen Manhunter as Red Dragon. And I also got Hannibal Rising. Yeah, I haven't seen this yet. From what I've heard, it's rubbish. This is the prequel. This goes back to like the early days of Hannibal Lecter, like prior to all the events of the other movies and books. So yeah, that's the final one. I haven't seen the TV series. I hear people say it's good all the time, but Hannibal Rising, I haven't checked that out yet. I've heard it's crappy though. Next up, Night of the Bloody Apes. This is from Nucleus Films. Night of the Bloody Apes is a late 60s Mexican gore movie. It's an incredibly poorly made movie. It's essentially about this guy who is in dire need of like a heart transplant, and his dad's a surgeon. So his dad takes the heart of a gorilla and puts it into him, but it causes him to have these sort of bouts of kind of Incredible Hulk style rage where he transforms into like this part man, part gorilla and goes around killing people. It's a really funny movie actually because it's very badly made, like I said. You know, just all the special effects are really goofy. It's clearly not the same guy when he transforms. There's also the scenes with the actual gorilla. It's clearly a dude in a costume, and that sort of thing. So yeah, and also the title is plural, whereas it should be singular. It should be Night of the Bloody Ape because there's only one in the whole movie. There's not multiple. So yeah, Night of the Bloody Apes. That was quite an entertaining movie. I picked that up because that was a video nasty. I'm getting close with the video nasties. I've only got about 19 to go, which is cool. Night School. This is another video nasty. This is a slasher movie. This is released by Warner Brothers. But what it is, it's part of the Warner Archive collection, which basically there's a bunch of films that Warner had the rights to that they decided there wasn't really any point in doing a mass market release on them because the audience wasn't that big for them. So from my understanding, they started the Warner Archive collection originally to release movies that were made on a made to order basis, basically. So as you can see, well, it's not coming up that clearly, but it's a DVD-R. It's got the purple ink on the back. So yeah, this is made to order. Originally, I bought it off of an Amazon seller who presumably had a stock of them. I don't think, from my research, I don't think the archive collection still operates like this. I think it's moved over to like a VOD service where you can check movies out. But it's a pretty cool thing, for people who want to have rare movies. Which, Night School is an obscure movie, I guess. It's a slasher movie, a sort of campus slasher movie, although it spends very little time actually on the campus, in which all of these girls keep getting killed by this kind of leather-clad motorbike helmet-wearing maniac with a massive knife. It was, for a crappy slasher movie, it was quite entertaining, I've got to say. It was quite solidly made, and some of the gore was pretty good and stuff, but, all of the kind of plot twists you saw coming, it was very cliched in that sense. So yeah, Night School, I would only recommend it if you're like an avid slasher fan. If not, I wouldn't worry too much about that one. So yeah, that's Night School. Next up, Pan's Labyrinth, Guillermo del Toro's classic dark fantasy horror monster movie about a young girl who has this imaginary world that she discovers. This sort of world inside her own head, I guess, is the way you describe it. Very spooky, very creepy little movie. Most people love Pan's Labyrinth. I count myself as someone who really enjoys this movie. So yeah, that's Pan's Labyrinth. Next up, just about every horror DVD collector recently has shown this, and this is the Arrow Video limited edition release of Pieces. Now, Pieces, I've probably mentioned it before, is my favourite bad movie. It's a campus slasher movie. With terrible direction. Okay, so that's the reverse cover. I'll just show you all the stuff and then I'll get on to talk about the movie. So you get Blu-ray and DVD of the film, and there is a compact disc of the soundtrack to the movie, which is very cool. It's a dual disc plus an extra thing. I've got to get all this out again, haven't I? So the actual reverse cover is the same as what's on the front of the box. This is, like I say, Pieces for me is my favourite bad movie. It's got one of the most stunningly cat-handed scripts you'll ever see in a horror movie. The acting is pretty terrible as well. And yeah, the film isn't quite sure what it wants to be, because it comes with a nice booklet as well. This has got some really nice stuff in it, tons of cast photos and all sorts of things. The movie sort of struggles on whether it wants to be a kind of silly, campus slasher romp, or it wants to be a really grueling, gory exploitation film. You also get a double-sided poster on which you get the original poster and the newly commissioned Arrow Video artwork, which is the same as the two reversible covers, which is very cool. I like that. I shall probably be hanging that up at some point. I fucking love Pieces, man. So yeah, that's the thing with Pieces, is it's really not sure what it wants to be, whether it wants to be a goofy, fun little horror romp, or it wants to be, this serious, intense grindhouse exploitation movie, which is weird. But like I say, I love Pieces. I'm so glad it got a reissue from Arrow. They did a DVD quite a few years ago. But yeah, this Blu-ray set is great. It's limited edition, And yeah, like I say, just go and check out Pieces if you haven't seen it already. You've got to. It's fantastic. Pardon me. Another Blu-ray, Pontypool, about a radio station that is under threat from zombies whose their the infection is spread through sound. I enjoyed this movie. I thought it was quite good. I thought it was a very interesting, quite original concept, and I really enjoyed that element of it. There was a lot of really fun little gore elements in it. Not that frequent, but they were cool. Some very good kind of suspense stuff. So yeah, Pontypool. I'd recommend checking that one out if you haven't seen it already. Of course, I'm a big fan of the zombie movie, so you know. Another one here, Quarantine 2, Terminal. So we all know the story. Quarantine is the English language American remake of Rec, the famous Spanish found footage zombie movie. Rec is really, really good. Quarantine is basically just a warmed over retread of it. Quarantine 2 Terminal is the sequel to Quarantine, but it is unrelated to the rest of the Rec movies. This is Zombies on a Plane. This is Flight of the Living Dead, the alternate version. So yeah, that's the closest I'm going to come to of having reviewed anything in this update. It's the fact that I once reviewed Flight of the Living Dead. Fuck it, I'll leave a link to that in the description. So yeah, that's Quarantine 2 Terminal. This movie is batshit insane. I would highly recommend it. It's much better than Quarantine. Not as good as any of the better Rec movies, I'd say, but it's really cool that just how fucking crazy this movie is. I really like. Much like with Flight of the Living Dead, that was what I liked about that movie, was just how bonkers it was. Next up, another zombie movie, Re-Animator, H.P. Lovecraft's Re-Animator. Yeah, this is just a classic. I don't need to tell you how much of a classic this is. It's the 2-disc edition from Second Sight. It's the full, uncut, original version of the movie, which had I ever seen it before this DVD? I don't think I had, because I've seen it on TV a couple of times and I can't really remember, like the scene with the zombie giving the chick, not the zombie, the fucking like the cunnilingus scene. I don't really remember from having seen it on TV originally. Yeah, Re-Animator, classic movie. Jeffrey Combs is great in it. Yeah, it's just a really fantastic story about these guys who are doing experiments with this serum that can bring people back to life. And it all just goes wrong, and it ends up with various people, dying and coming back, and what have you. A lot of fun. I really enjoy Re-Animator. I think it's a great movie. I don't have any of the sequels. I've never seen any of the sequels either, but I do plan to change that because I like that movie so much. Next up, more zombies. Fuck. Return of the Living Dead Part 2. Yeah, I mentioned that earlier actually, didn't I? That Facebook seller that I got this from. So yeah, Return of the Living Dead Part 2. Quite a camp. Well, I mean, the original was pretty campy, but this is definitely more like a, it's a bit more of a. It's not a family movie, but it's a little bit less adult orientated than the original was, I guess. I'm not really into this movie. It's okay. Return of the Living Dead Part 2 is, yeah, whatever. This movie's pretty good though. Return of the Living Dead 3. You don't see people talk about this movie as much. This is like a romance movie about a dude who is like keeping his girlfriend alive. Well, she's a zombie, so she's dead, but he's keeping her active. She's hidden away and stuff. I really, 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 really like this movie. Actually, I think it's a very cool interesting take, very different from the original Return of the Living Dead and the sequel, but a cool movie in its own right, I have to say. I like Return of the Living Dead 3 quite a bit, so it's good to have that in the collection. And this is the second from last one, Rosemary's Baby. Yeah, classic movie. Mia Farrow, Roman Polanski's great horror masterpiece. Really, really entertaining stuff. I won't go on too long about Rosemary's Baby. This is just a bog standard DVD. Yeah, really chilling movie actually. Rosemary's Baby is very cool. Check it out if you haven't already. Although I'd imagine since you're here that you have. And last up, The Sacrament. I haven't seen this yet. This is a film by Ty West or T West. I'm guessing it's Ty. Presented by Eli Roth. Looks like it could be quite fun. Yeah, I mean it looks like a bit of a spam in a cabin movie from what I can gather. You know, a kind of Evil Dead type thing. But yeah, no, I just picked this up because it was incredibly cheap. I think I got it in Poundland, which is cool, you know. But yeah, so that's the last one. That's The Sacrament. And that'll do it for this particular edition. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know what you think of these movies in the comments. Please go and check out my Q&A. Also go and check out my podcast and all of the other stuff that I will leave linked in the description. That's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. See you soon.